We mix in a little sound off from the NFL because some interesting things going on with teams going through their OTAs. Yesterday here we had Tim Hasselbeck, and he expressed some hesitation over how Russell Wilson and Justin Fields could coexist in Pittsburgh this year under one circumstance. Listen.
I think that Russell Wilson needs to be your starter week one. I don't see an environment where Russell Wilson is the backup and it's good for your football team with Justin Fields as the starter. Both guys are there playing for their next contract. Yeah, they're playing for the Steelers, but they're really playing for their next contract. And I think that dynamic is going to be fascinating.
So there's no question it will be. Lewis, quickly, let me start with you before we get to the information here. The idea that the transition from Russell Wilson to Justin, there's something about that to sort of make sense in your head. If Justin Fields wins this job in the preseason, before the season begins, do you think it makes sense to have Russell Wilson there as a backup?
Yeah, I think. Look, you need two quarterbacks because you never know when, a number two quarterback would need to play. And I think right now, quite honestly, look, I do disagree with Tim because I don't believe Pittsburgh really cares about right now really trying to, make sure that Russell Wilson is taken care of and made to feel as though this is his football team. As a matter of fact, I can tell you for sure they are not doing that. That this will be a competition. Yes, Mike Tomlin has used the terminology of Russ has the pole position, but I can tell you this, Arthur Smith, they are smitten, so to speak, with Justin Fields' potential and his just outright explosive ability to really play the quarterback position, not just throwing, but with his running ability. The best person will play. Would I bet that Russell Wilson starts the season as the starter? Yeah, I do believe that. But I don't think in any way, shape, or form they are concerned about whether or not he will disrupt the quarterback room or be bad for this organization overall, that being Russell Wilson, if he's not the starter. As a matter of fact, I could tell you they could not care less about that fact going into this season.
What do you think of this, Grass?
I've been thinking that if Justin Fields wins the job in the offseason, that the likely scenario is that Russell Wilson would be cut. And they can do that, right? They're paying him $1.2 million. It's guaranteed, but people take bigger hits than that on their budgets and on their cap all the time. I was looking at his contract the other day. It's interesting. Russell Wilson actually has a no-trade clause in his Steelers contract, which is bizarre at $1.2 million. I've never seen that before, but it gives him some say in it, right? Like if they get to the point and Fields is going to be the starter, Russell can say, trade me or cut me, and then he has some control over where he goes. So I think there's a lot of this story to be told. I don't think it's at all out of the question that Russell Wilson's not on the Steelers by the time the season starts.
Yeah, look, I think the variety of ways this thing could go are fascinating. And if you watch this show, I'm a huge supporter of and believer in Justin Fields. So we'll see where that goes. Now, staying with the quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud had some fascinating things to say about Aaron Rodgers in 3 separate parts of a fascinating interview he did on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. Just listen to this.
If you had to pick a career to have, I'm going to have Aaron Rodgers' career or I'm going to have Eli Manning's career. Who career are you taking?
You want the rings, dog. You don't want
That's all that matters, the rings.
If you give Matthew Stafford a chance like Aaron Rodgers, I guarantee he might have had more rings, for sure. I think Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford had more rings than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he have another ring probably.
I'd say he had like 3, 4.
He might, it's possible.
Bro.
He good. But what I'm saying is his levels of greatness.
We don't know how Aaron Rodgers treats his teammates, but you can guarantee that Tom Brady treats his teammates right because how he got them rings.
What are we doing here, people? I mean, what fascinating. God bless you for the podcast. I love every word of it. That struck me. Lewis, what? By the way, those teams do meet Halloween night in New York, Texans at Jets. It's a Thursday night game. Lewis, what are we doing here?
Yeah, look, man. I mean, you know how I love C.J. Stroud, all right? I love the kid. I think what you're seeing is, look, I don't think this is so much a matter of taking shots at Aaron, and I don't want to do that here either because, look, there are plenty of guys who Aaron has played with that really love him, okay? We also know the kind of extra stuff that Aaron Rodgers comes with and what some of the debate is about in terms of whether or not he really is a team guy or is he someone who's really just, someone who's really looking out for himself first and foremost. We also know that Tom Brady's one of the greatest teammates ever, one of the best you know, in that environment in terms of being a team player while also being someone who has racked up a lot of individual accolades. And when it all comes together, he's the greatest winner of all time. I do agree with CJ with what he said also about Matthew Stafford. I said that long ago when he was in Detroit, that this guy would be an absolute killer had he had more support during his time in Detroit. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks that this game has ever seen.
Right.
Ever seen. And he had zero support when he was in Detroit. So I think I think CJ is on to something here. I think when you put it all together, what he's trying to say is this. This is more than just about individual accolades, man. I'm wise beyond my years. I'm being taught by a guy who they called Mufasa when he played, that being DeMeco Ryans. I understand that this is bigger than me, and ultimately I want to be defined as a winner. Look, money is going to be something like, all these guys are going to get paid. It's kind of like Patrick Mahomes right now, right?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes right now, he should be getting paid $100 million a year, and he'd still be cheap. He knows how important it is to win for his legacy.
I get all that. We could have a whole other discussion over whether the things C.J. Stroud is saying are accurate or not. And I love the kid, too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But why is he saying them? Like, why are you going out? I mean, you know who is writing
That's a
them
good
down?
question.
Aaron Rodgers, right now, writing down every one of those comments.
If Aaron Rodgers is healthy the day the Texans play the Jets this year, the Jets are going to win that game. Like, I'm 100% sure of that, because nothing drives Aaron Rodgers more than, like, pettiness and
The
revenge.
Jets beat them with Zach Wilson last year.
Yeah, so look, C.J. Stroud, obviously a high level of confidence. I don't necessarily disagree with anything he said.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, it's something. You better be ready to back it up, man.
That's what I'm saying.